Morgan Plus 8 review. The Morgan Plus 8, equipped with Rover's mighty V8, was pioneered in the late 1960s and is credited with sealing the firm's enduring popularity. The niche appeal of the firm's three-wheeled cars limited Morgan's sales as its only product until 1935, although that is something it has returned to. Meanwhile, the Aero 8, on which this new generation of Plus 8 is based, is the direct descendant of the 1997 GT2 Le Mans car that Morgan built for the FIA GT series. Placing a V8 engine in the front of the traditional Morgan Roadster was a wonderfully balmy idea in the 1960s. The Plus 8 was Britain's fastest accelerating production car for a time and proved so endearing that it remained on sale, in relatively little altered form, until midway through the last decade. Production of the traditional Roadster has continued alongside the new-look, aluminium chassis Aero series and three-wheeler, which have stolen most of the public's attention. However, the Plus 8, in the form of a grunty old V8 in an even older body shell, has been missed, and nowhere more so than in the US, where the traditional Roadster has been unavailable in any guise. The old Plus 8's chassis was no longer suitable to take a ferocious modern powertrain and associated running gear, but Morgan has found an answer: take today's componentry and made it with the old stager's looks. What we have here is precisely that, a traditional-looking Morgan bearing the return of the Plus 8 name and with all the hallmarks of an old-school British Roadster. Let's see how it measures up. The Plus 8 sits alongside the other traditional Roadsters, rather than the modern Aero cars, in Morgan's price list. But don't be fooled. Yes, the hand-beaten aluminium bodywork mimics the traditional Roadsters, although it is somewhat bigger, and, to our eyes, it looks terrific. But the new Plus 8 has the same BMW-sourced 367 bhp V8 as the Aero Coupe and Supersport, more than 1,000 of which already ply the world's highways. Naturally, it also gets the bonded and riveted aluminium chassis that has marked out the Aero 8 and all other Aero models since their inception in 2001. The first Aeros were powered by a 4.4-liter BMW V8, which was some way advanced from the Rover unit that went into early Plus 8s. Since 2007, however, Aeros have been fitted with a 4.8-liter variant of the BMW engine, which the Plus 8 shares. It is mated to either a 6-speed manual or 6:ZF automatic. The Plus 8, at 4,010 mm long and 1,751 mm wide, may be the biggest traditionally styled Morgan to date, but the firm claims that it is the world's latest V8 production car to meet EU safety standards. Fully fueled, our Plus 8 test car registered 1,230 kilograms on the weighbridge. That's more than Morgan's claim of 1,100 kilograms, but we weren't particularly surprised, and certainly not disappointed, by the figure. Its 367 bhp, we reckoned, would be more than enough. Modern Morgans don't come with a plethora of safety systems, but they get what you'd expect, and what Morgan needs for them to sell through its network of 10 dealers in the USA. ABS and airbags are standard and, while there's no visible rollover bar and you wouldn't trust a toddler to sit on the windscreen lip without damaging it, the seats are reinforced. Despite what we find wrong with the Morgan's interior, there's very little to complain about the pace with which it goes down the road. The sound the Plus 8 makes on startup is eager. This engine, which has been gradually replaced by turbocharged units in BMW's range, but which we know from many just departed 50i models, offers genuine V8 woofle and character at any revs. Step-off is brisk. The 6-speed manual that comes as standard is heavy but direct, and complements the nature of the car. There's considerable creep built into the 6-speed automatic ZF transmission, which is used to lugging around more than the Morgan's 1,230 kilograms. However, the gearbox largely does what it's told if you sling it into its manual override mode, whereupon it blips a little, although not enough, on downshifts, and changes up on your whim. It'll still auto-upshift at the 6,500 revolutions per minute rev limiter, but that's fine by us. As is the way that, left in automatic, it mooches around at lower speeds. Straight line speed? as fast as you'd realistically want, we suspect. We return 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds and don't doubt that, in a manual variant that could hit 60 miles per hour in second gear, the Plus 8 would match Morgan's claim of 4.5 seconds over the same benchmark. It's a strong, lusty performer at any revs. A tickle of throttle at low revs in a high gear is likely to get you where you want to go at a speed you could eventually feel slightly uncomfortable with, for reasons that we'll come to in the next section. The servo-assisted brakes are perhaps a touch sharp for easy modulation around town, but overall, in the dry, it brakes quite well. In the wet, it is a different matter. There's noticeable directional instability when you first hit the pedal, and thereafter the stopping distance is poor.